Hello and welcome back to Transports Fever 2, the UK modded series. Thank you very much for joining me in today's video. Now, last time out, I finished building the line from Stratford upon Avon over to Chagford. That is a line that you can only see a little bit of on the map. If you look sort of, let me see if I can move this camera icon just over there. If you look over there, you can just about see part of the viaduct and part of the railway line going off in that direction to Chagford. But the reason that I start up here with a bird's eye view is that everything that you see here needs detailing done and some detail work done to the entire area, whether we are at Sudbury, which is just down at the bottom of the screen, or Kingsbridge, which is to the left, mid-left of the screen, Taunton, which is off-screen, Stratford upon Avon, which is sort of roughly in the middle, about 2/3 of the way up the screen, or 3/4 of the way up the screen, roughly in the middle. That is, Stratford upon Avon, or Chagford, which is off the screen. So, in this video, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing a time-lapse of some detailing. Now, the reason this video is not coming out, should I say, on a Tuesday, and indeed is coming out on hopefully a Friday. I'm going to try not to make this a Saturday, but hopefully on a Friday, is because I'm going to need to get quite a substantial amount of footage because I want to detail all of this. So that means I'm going to be fixing up the farms, which you can see all around the railway. They are all broken. I'm going to be doing some farm painting. I'm going to be putting trees up. I'm going to be making adjustments to heights of certain things. I'm going to try and put rivers in. I'm not sure how that is going to go. And just generally make it so that this looks quite detailed. Now, given how much there is to do, I'm not entirely sure that I'm going to be able to. I'm not entirely sure that I'm going to be able to do all of it, but I'm certainly going to try my best to do as much of it as possible. So, if you are interested in seeing a time-lapse that could be 5 hours of work, maybe more, maybe less, all compressed into, well, as much as the software, my editing software allows me to compress it to, make sure you stay tuned. And of course, if you do like these videos, please remember to click on the like button, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell so you know when another video is coming out, and also leave a comment with your suggestions, with your ideas, and what you do and do not like about these videos. Also, if you can support me on Patreon, link to that in the description box below. Links to social media and Discord also in that description box. So do go check all of that out if you so wish. Right, I think that is enough of an intro. I'm going to go ahead and roll the titled credits. That's what it is. I've been trying to think about what the term is for the where my logo comes up and all of that. So title credits, that is what it is, in a sense. Or title card. That is probably a better word for it, title card. So I'll roll the title card and then get into a time lapse for however long that will be, and I shall see you at the end of the time lapse when I have done everything that needs to be done. And here we are after the time lapse, and this is what I've got. Now, this is probably not a great spot to see things from, but I am just going to take a screenshot. Regardless, let's go take a closer look, and I'll talk about what I have and have not managed to do. So if we just go down, actually start playing this, and zoom in, let's just have a quick look. I'll run through each line very quickly as it tries and struggles to figure out what it's doing. There we go. So obviously we have the station. You'll see that I have reworked all of this. So the farms have been reworked, farms have been reconnected in a much better fashion. Of course, trees. There are now trees everywhere. So all of these farms have been reworked. I've added some wheat farms. I found, as you saw in the time lapse, I found this particular. Oh, there's a bit of an issue there. Let me go ahead and fix that. I found this, not snaz, yeah, like SNES. I found this particular texture, which I did find some time in the past in an earlier episode, so I remember using it, and yes, I decided this is probably a good texture to use in some places. When you zoom out, it looks quite good. When you zoom in, it is quite detailed. It doesn't look tiled too much, so it's pretty decent. So I'd go ahead and use it. Then I got slightly distracted and ended up using it, well, as you saw, everywhere. So as we work our way up the map, you'll see that I actually started making some changes around the map and adding it in various locations. For example, I think it looks rather good over here. So if I were to try and take a screenshot here, I would say that does look pretty good, pretty decent overall. Go ahead and actually screenshot that. Let's just continue. So yes, I ended up getting a little distracted. That took me a little bit of time, particularly up here. So you can see it's over here now, which I think that does work. So as the train's coming along here, you've got the farm. I think that does work, although this train is currently waiting in traffic. These trains also need some work. What on earth? What's happened to these trains? Tell me that their maintenance was fairly high. No. I need to somehow... What I need to do is I need to find a way to have none of these weather. Because these weathering trains, they do not work for me. Anyway, as I said, so made some adjustments, for example, there, and started doing a number of adjustments here. So removed a few more of the patchwork, these patchworks. You know what? Whilst I'm here, I may as well just remove another. Goodbye. This patchwork. Yep, that will do. And there may need to be an interesting little adjustment there. So I shall go ahead and do that. Yep, remove that one. And just because it is rather annoying, I may as well remove this one as well. So yes, I went around doing that in various places. Also noticed in some areas, particularly close to some roads, you may have noticed that I started adjusting the heights using the node tool. And I started adjusting the heights of some of these fields, or the boundaries, the borders for the fields, these bushes or hedgerows, whatever you want to call them. And that was actually quite useful for making sure things were neatened up. It really is a fantastic mod, well worth having. So there we go. Even that just looks a little bit better. So yes, I went ahead and did that. Coming back down to the area where the majority of work was done though, let's just go all the way down at 1 FPS, why not? Yes, so go along here, you'll notice that I did try to put some, towards the end of the time lapse, I tried to put some of these rivers, streams in. I haven't done all of them. Up here, this is done intentionally. I want to try and get it to come out of the rocks here, and similarly here, disappear out of the rocks as opposed to all the way up the hill. So I need to figure something out there, but if we continue all the way along here, again, trees and fixed farms and all of that. Also fixed a slight problem here with the elevation. The track was doing something slightly odd here, so I went ahead and fixed that, changed all of these. And if we come along here, still need to figure out how I want to do things over here. So that is why I've left that bit blank. This bit all looks quite good. In fact, I do particularly like the way this section has turned out. I may want to put a lavender field just here though, just to give it a little bit more detail. Maybe before we end this video I shall do that. And then over here I attempted, keyword being attempted, to do this, to try and cut a river, but it didn't go so well and led to my game crashing a couple of times. So I've got to figure something out with this, and it is going to take me a little bit of time, but I will figure it out, and I'm sure after maybe after the next video I should have some idea as to how I'm going to do this. I think this bit here really should be erased. What I could do is just try and create some sort of tunnel through this, and I'm not sure how I'm going to manage it, but I shall attempt something. So yes, continuing on along here, as you can see, more trees. Again, the middle bits, I'm not sure how I want to do this. Do I want to put some plants or just fill the whole area up with trees? Just for now, I've just gone ahead and done the tree lining, and then this area went into the forest anyway, so it didn't really matter. What I should have done though, is perhaps focus a little bit on removing some trees where they really should not be. So maybe I should do that. I might as well do some of that now, just to ensure this is ready for when I have the time to build up my embankment properly. So as you've noticed, I sort of ran out of time. That was, I think, about 5 hours worth of work that I put in, something along those lines. That is what I thought I'd be able to do, and that is what I did. Unfortunately, I've not managed to do this bit, so nothing here has changed apart from the fields, the field boundaries, and of course painting in a nice big field of wheat, so that whilst we're coming along this viaduct, which I have not managed to lower either, but as we're going along the viaduct, it should be quite interesting. I still have to figure out, can I lower this viaduct any further? It would be good if I could, but the problem is then I've got to go uphill again, which would be a waste of energy. So yes, again, rivers, streams, these really do look good. It's just a matter of getting the depth correct on it and then adding the details around it, and I think this would work. What this has also taught me is that this river is way too wide in places. So over here, this is fine, absolutely fine, but this bit here, these bits are just too wide. So I do need to make this smaller. So there we go. That is that bit. Let's go ahead and come back up from Kingsbridge Way and peel off in this direction. So same thing I've done around here is trees, and apparently I forgot to connect this one. Let's go ahead and do that. Trees all the way along. Nothing too spectacular here. Going across, there are still other details that need to be put in. Then same thing here, I need to figure out what to do with the stream. These streams do look really good though. I think that once I've figured this out, they are all going to look rather excellent. Also, this stream is going uphill and downhill here, which is a no-no. We want it to go downhill all the way. As we go up the embankment, I've left this side intentionally clear. So I want to put some perhaps dark shrubs or something along here, or something along those lines up to the tree line, just because I think that would be an interesting change. And then coming along here and then into Stratford. Similarly here, I've left this open. I may end up putting a whole heap of trees down here, but I'm not sure yet. And really that is because I'm still not 100% certain on this junction. That is the problem, which is also why I have started the trees here and not all the way over here, because I may have a rethink of that junction. But in similar fashion, trees go all the way along this, all the way over. Again, embankment needs a little bit of detail, but the trees are there. And then right up to Chagford. The problem here, though, is, and this is just a typical problem with Transports Fever 2, when you put too many trees clumped together, it sort of gives you this ground texture. Now, does anybody know how to get rid of this? Is there a mod that gets rid of the ground texture off tree assets? If so, please link the mod to me and I shall install it and get rid of all of this, because that is going to make a huge difference on how this is all going to look. So yes, that is that. Now, what is missing? What haven't I done? Well, as I said, I haven't done the lowering of the elevation and the cutting that a stream would do. So I haven't done that. See, from here, that just looks brilliant. In fact, all of this just is starting to look really, really good. Just wondering if I did something like this, as a screenshot, how would it look at this particular point in time? So it doesn't look I suppose it doesn't look the greatest at the moment, but it doesn't look too bad, really. What could I do? So I've got an option here for a screenshot, which I'm going to take. So yes, as I said, the things that I have not done is these things. I've also not put barriers on this, the fencing, because I thought to myself, for the most part, these hedgerows are going to deal with the fencing issue for me. And so with the hedgerows dealing with that, there is very little in the way of barriers required. So I may need to put, for example, a barrier along here, but that is about it. So I could always do that when I am refining all of this. So I may need to put, for example, a barrier along here. But then I've actually gone down roads. The A1 going towards Edinburgh has a section which is quite a lot like this, although the hills are lots closer and a lot higher than that. But you are driving along, and I would say this is fairly accurate as to how close you actually are to the railway. So you could just park on the side of the road and walk over to the railway, and it would only take you about a minute, if that, to walk to the railway, and there is nothing stopping you, apart from the fact that the A1 is a dual carriageway. Actually, at that point, is it single carriageway at that point? Well, regardless, there isn't really a valid place to stop, but nothing is stopping you from just pulling over and walking over to the railway. Everything is open. So I'm just thinking about keeping that perhaps like that, and just filling this up with some bushes and shrubs, and that is it, and just say, well, there are places in the UK that have that sort of style. But yeah, apart from those things, and the embankment detailing, I think everything that I wanted to do is complete. So in the next video, what I'm going to do is work on a depot. We're going to have to build a depot, and I've not decided yet where the depot should be built. I'm going to try and hold off making the video until Monday evening. So when this video comes out, if you have a suggestion for where the depot could be built, this is a reasonable location perhaps. Could be a reasonable location. Maybe this side actually. This could be a reasonable location too. But if you have an idea as to where a depot should be built, please do let me know so that I can go ahead and build it. So that is all of this connected, and once the depot is built, I shall go ahead and get the trains running, get the routes running, and all of that kind of stuff. Make some adjustments with the rivers and do a whole bunch of ride-alongs, and that should spell the end of the Victorian era. So I'm going to take this up to 1900 once we are done. That is as far as I'm going to go, and say at that point I want to do a whole bunch of stuff before 1900, get it all done, and that would be the end of that era. After that, the second era is going to be going over to the era of British Rail, so it'll come up to the end of steam, 1960s, that sort of time. The third era will then be going from the 1960s into the 2000s, and that is sort of where I want to stop. I really do not want to go too far into 2020 or whatever, but I may play up to there, but I shall probably be using some of the older vehicles from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and perhaps early 2000s, that sort of era. So that is the plan. This is complete. All the railways here are pretty much complete. All we now need to do is start considering the whole idea of connecting the railways that... Battersea still isn't connected. The railways that would be connecting down to Battersea. Maybe I should do just a short track between Battersea and Bridgenorth or something. That might just be a random video. Just do a short track, Battersea to Bridgenorth, and try and then peel. Yeah, Battersea to Bridgenorth, and then do a weird peeling around thing over to Maryport, or something along those lines. But yes. And in terms of the farms, all that is left to do, this part is not going to be farm, so I'm going to do something there. I haven't decided about this bit, so any farmland that's left over, it's just this bit's here, this bit along here, which is fairly flat. This will be easy to farmland on. This bit's here, and that's it. That is the entire farm section also completed, which means that I can just start breaking things, putting railways in, and some of the closer farms to the railways, maybe I'll start figuring out how to do entrances, because somebody was saying, well, these farms don't have entrances. There's more than just an entrance missing, I'm afraid. There's also farmhouses missing, and silos, and all of that kind of stuff. Pens and sties, and all of those things are also unfortunately missing. So I may need to do something about that. Should I go ahead and just add the lavender here before finishing off? Let's just go ahead and do that. I think a nice lavender feel will be great. On my travels recently, I have found that in Britain we have a lot of fields, and I have seen many fields in many different counties across let's see, where have my travels taken me to see this lately? The eastern counties, the southern, it's not really the southern counties, it's the southeast, so all of that area and the Midlands area and all of that, I have seen quite a few primrose fields, or at least what I believe are primrose fields. Unfortunately, there is no Primrose mod for Transport Fever 2, which is a bit of a downer, really. Because if there was a Primrose mod, that would be excellent. It would really be ideal to get a great. It would really be ideal to get a great sense of a British feel. So just to see dozens of Primrose fields would look fantastic, in my opinion. This could be a really good thumbnail, actually. Just this little bit of detailing just shows, without giving too much away, what I've gone and done. But yes, I think at that point it is time for me to end. I have no idea how long this video is, but hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy the video, please remember to click on the like button, thumbs up, whatever they call it. Subscribe to the channel for more videos on Transport Fever 2, the UK modded series. Leave a comment in the comments box below letting me know what you think, suggestions and ideas you may have. If you can do so, please do consider supporting me on Patreon at www.patreon.com/ECGadget. Your supports would be massively appreciated. It is that sort of support that will enable me to make more videos like this. And certainly it's that sort of support that may help me save to buy a new graphics card or CPU, because they are certainly starting to struggle now in Transport Fever 2 and definitely in other titles as well. Microsoft Flight Simulator does not do too well with a mid-tier 20 series graphics card and a processor that it came out before E-cores and P-cores. Not that my processor and graphics card are bad, it's just that they are now starting to get on a bit, so I need to start considering saving up perhaps over the next year or so to do that, and your supports would be massively appreciated if you wish to do so. Even £1 is perfectly alright. It is, any amount is great, and none is also great. There's no need to have to do it. Just your support on this video, watching it, giving it a thumbs up is really important, and I do very much appreciate it. If you can also do so, and if you want to, you can find me on social media at ECGadgetLP for both Instagram and Twitter. And lastly, do go check out my Discord server. Link to that is in the description box below. If you want to join a small but growing community, which in some places we do talk about, a subway didn't exist back then. We do talk about some Transport Fever 2 stuff nationwide. They're on your side. Anyway, that is all from me, and I shall see. This is pretty good. This is pretty good, apart from Costa didn't exist here. Post Office obviously did, and I think Greg's did back then, perhaps as well. But anyway, that is all from me, and I shall see you next time in Transport Fever 2, the UK modded series where I start building the Southern Depot.